Dave Palumbo here with RxMuscle.com, and I have a special report, special rant for you actually. I just watched the video where Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jim Manion and Jim Lorimer talked about the new rule they're instituting for all the Arnold Classics across all the continents this year. They will be judging the posing round, something that hasn't been done for many, many years. A couple years back, they eliminated the posing round in terms of scoring, and what they did was they judged the pre-judging mandatory poses and comparisons, and then at night, for the finals, they do the same thing. They basically just duplicate the pre-judging. Now, Arnold feels that there is not enough attention being given to the posing, to the beautification, to the artistic side of bodybuilding, and he feels that the I guess the entertainment value has gone down because of that. The bodybuilders don't know how to transition between poses, and he feels that he'd like to, I guess, test this system out where they'll be judging the pre-judging as normal, they'll be judging the finals as normal, but they'll have a third part of their score that will basically be a score of the posing round. Now, what that means is that bodybuilders now will have to prepare a routine that they feel will be scored highly. So guys that are entertaining, guys that have beautiful flow to their body, guys that spend a long time, entertaining the crowd will get a third of their score boosted from what it was before. So guys like Fred Biggie Smalls, Darren Charles, even Tricky Jackson, guys who spend a lot of time on their routine but really never got anything more than maybe a pat on their back, and if they were lucky, maybe a Best Poser award, now will have their score augmented by the fact that they're putting time into the posing. I mean, think about the routines of the Flex Wheeler and Sean Ray, Kevin Levrone back in the day. I mean, just beautiful, I guess you could say music-inspired routines. Now, I like that. I mean, as a guy who sits in the press pit watching these shows hour after hour after hour, I want to be entertained. Also, if I'm a guy paying for, a ticket to a show, I want to be entertained by the bodybuilders. Back in the day when the Night of Champions was around and guys' routines were scored, people put time into it and it became more entertaining. As a bodybuilder myself, and when I was competing at the national level and the USA level, I always prepared routines. Even though I knew they weren't scored, I always felt that the crowd deserved to be entertained. I wanted to be entertained as a person watching, so I put a lot of time and effort into the creativity that I put into my routines. And I know a lot of people enjoyed some of the performances that I put on. I might not have been the most dramatic or the most, I guess you could say, creative poser, or maybe even, I guess you could say, artistic poser, but I always entertained, and that's what it's about. The judges want to be entertained, the fans and the press want entertainment. Bodybuilding is not really a sport in and of itself, other than it's an entertaining thing to watch. And so when people put time and effort into those routines, it makes the sport that much more mainstream acceptable. And I think Arnold gets that Hollywood aspect of it. And I'm glad that Jim Manion agreed to, institute this on a trial basis at all the Arnold Classics. The first one obviously being in March in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm super excited. I think it's a great idea. I think guys like Cedric McMillan are going to really rise. It'll help their score in the long run. And I think we're going to see differences in the placings because of the entertainment value. Now you might take a guy like Branch Warren and say, well, he's not going to do as well because doesn't have that beautiful flowing physique. I got news for you. Branch Warren has got one of the most entertaining routines up there. So his score will not suffer. If anything, it might even go up another notch or two. So the guys that are the best in the sport usually have the best routines too. So I don't think the placing is going to change that much, but I think that some of the guys that are above and beyond superfluous in that posing round will certainly see a surge in their score, and I think it will offer a lot more mainstream appeal and fan appeal. And once again, I think people are not going to be worried about what time the show ends. Instead, they're going to be interested in seeing who's next on the posing dais. And that's my final word. I hope you guys agree, disagree, put it in the comments below. And this just might be the next topic of Iron Debate.